Intel Lunar Lake CPU at 17 watts offers 50% multi-threaded performance uplift over Meteor Lake 15 watts. Intel Lunar Lake CPUs to be available in limited supply in late 2024, volume not expected until 2025. Intel Lunar Lake CPUs will reportedly offer a major boost in multi-threaded performance with their new P-core and E-core architecture. Intel Lunar Lake CPUs with Lion Cove P-cores lack hyperthreading support but deliver 50% higher multi-threaded performance than Meteor Lake. The latest information on Intel's Lunar Lake CPUs comes from Bionic_Squash, who has teased the multi-threaded performance of the upcoming low-power CPU platform. The Lunar Lake CPUs are targeted at thin and light laptops with a focus on higher performance per watt and faster INPU performance. The chips are expected to feature the Lion Cove P-core, Skymon E-core architecture, and a brand new NPU that delivers 3x the performance gain over Meteor Lake. Now let's talk about the performance being shared. The Lunar Lake CPU used for comparison is a 17 watts SKU and is said to have no hyperthreading support. For comparison, a Meteor Lake U, 15 watts, chip was used, which features 2 P-cores, 8 E-cores, and 2 LPE cores for a total of 12 cores and 14 threads. Based on previous information that we have reported, Lunar Lake CPUs will come with up to 4 P-cores and 4 E-cores, so that's 8 cores and 8 threads. There are no specific SKU details, but it is mentioned that the 17 watts TDP was the original PL1 spec for the single fan configurations based on Lunar Lake CPUs. Intel is said to have extended the CTDP up to 30 watts following popular demand from OEMs. But here, the 17 watts TDP was used for comparisons. Some of the most popular multi-threaded CPU benchmarks were used, such as Cinebench 23, Geekbench 5, and Geekbench 4.5. It is stated that the Intel Lunar Lake CPUs reached almost 50% multi-threaded performance versus the Meteor Lake CPUs, which is a huge increase despite Lunar Lake chips having almost half the number of threads. This may give us a hint of the performance packed within the new Lion Cove and Skymon cores, with the former also heading to Arrow Lake CPUs for desktops and notebooks later this year. Following are some of the features of Lunar Lake CPUs. Designed for thin and light notebooks. Lion Cove P-cores and Skymon T-cores. Battlematch 2 LPG GPU architecture. 4+4 core configurations, MX series. Up to 64 execution units. On-package LPDDR5X memory. Up to 3x faster NPU performance versus Meteor Lake. Late 2024 launch, 2025 volume. Intel's Lunar Lake CPUs will be rolling out later this year in limited quantities with mass availability in early 2025. Besides the CPU and GPU side, the chips will be the first to incorporate the next Gen's 2 Battlematch graphics architecture on the IGPU tile, offering a major 2x performance uplift versus the existing 1 Alchemist architecture. Intel will also talk about its future client CPU families at Computex 2024, so we might hear more about these chips in June.